Hi-oh, beefer! Away!
Welcome back, everybody, to the Season 23 Preseason Cup of ETF2L Highlander. inVision versus Kitty's bakenbardami, and the map is going to be a payload map, Vigil. So it's going to be played best of one. Some of you may have seen this in previous UGC or RGL seasons. And we're going to be seeing what it's like against these two Premiership teams. I'm CeeJaey, and I'm now joined by Dave with Arch still valiantly on production. We should be going ready in a few seconds. Just getting a last little bit of DM out of the way. I think inVision are going to be in the red. Seems like they want to defend here first. What's your opinion, Dave, on attacking or defending first? Do you have a preference?
I think it makes a difference if you're warmed up. Like, because these guys have played 2 maps already, it doesn't make too much of a difference. But I think when you're not warmed up, you definitely want to defend first, just because it's a little bit easier, a little bit more comfortable. You don't have to worry about like stalling out too long, being a bit ponderous.
That's a good point, actually. I never thought of it that way. I mean, it's always difficult because sometimes you like to attack first and know how long you have to defend for, but other times you want to defend first and know how much time you've got to work with. But we are going live now, and it is going to be Kitty in the blue, and they're going to be attacking first, trying to set a time, and inVision will be in the red, defending, and they'll be trying to beat the time that Kitty sets. And being this is a preseason cup, we're just here for a little bit of warm-up and a little bit of map testing. It's only going to be a best of one, so we'll just have this one attack-defending phase each. And the winner of that will be given the full amount of points for the win. One thing I think in maps like this that maybe aren't played a lot, if you're defending first, or at least, sorry, if you're attacking first, you get to see some of the things the defenders are doing that maybe you think, oh, I didn't know that spot, or oh, okay, they put their sentry there, that caused us problems. Let's use that on our defense, and maybe you give away some of your strats. But the same, I guess, could be said of the attacking side.
Yeah. In fact, we're seeing inVision kind of set up quite far forward, so they are dropping back now to this kind of standard kind of hold we've seen in North America. They seem to be taking their strats from their American friends. I know inVision, I know Stingan plays a lot with American teams, so perhaps he knows kind of more what to do on this map.
I do believe Stinghan is also an Asian Highlander champion, because I think he played on an Asian Highlander team as well. So picking up strats
Intercontinental gamer.
Yes, intercontinental champion, as we do see some of the first kills going down. Swipes gets a couple, and Stinghan does get the first there. Turek jumping forward, gets a lot of damage onto Tercio, but doesn't actually quite get the kill. Often we see on these first points on payload maps, big launch in there from Turek. Gets a ton of damage, but doesn't get the NG, and holding behind this barrier seems to be the safest place, just allowing the sentry to be that tank, and everyone else just peeking around the corners and trying to get a little bit of chip damage and maybe a kill or two.
Yeah, they don't seem to be quite sure what to do with this wrangled sentry. You'd see other teams put it like slightly further back to deny bombs, but with it being really far forward and wrangled, it's really taken a lot of spam from the blue team. They don't seem to they've only just got it down now. And it looks like they're back up to second point.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is the first point. It reminds me a lot of Swiftwater, where you don't really contest it. You just have a few players out there DMing, and you just wait for them to get to where your sentry is, and then you back it up. And Asix has done exactly that, and he's real built kind of far back here, and we do see an Uber exchange happening here. A lot of flashes happening. Tercio is going to get the kill onto the Pyro, and we're getting a lot of fighting going on the high ground. Sam gets the kill on Turek with the cleaver. Asix is going to use the teleporting wrench there to get away back into safety, and a lot of players dying here for Kitty. Ban very weak, will get cleaned up there, and everyone was about 10-15 HP before getting finished off, and inVision just setting up to reset themselves on this second point.
Yeah, they were in really the perfect position. They seemed to know exactly what they were doing, and it was a very easy Uber trade for them. It did look briefly like they'd given up the high ground, but Kitty lost so many players that they weren't able to re-push over the hill.
This high ground is clearly very important. It's above directly where the cart needs to get through. And you can see there's a lot of space being given to Pluha here, who's trying to get some spam down, but on the flank, Duo is on a 3-kill streak, takes down Marissa. Stinghan is going to get a snipe. He's got a good angle for himself. Vickerman trying to deal with him, but can't. And because of that, Pluha is also going to go down. So inVision seem very clustered up here, but it's working out for them. They have control of all the... Oh, actually, Sam and Dwo both going down to the flank here. Meef and Turek going to get a couple of kills for themselves and just push that car a little bit further out of the tunnel.
Yeah, with the flank going down, that opens up potential tunnel plays, either the combo going through side tunnel or perhaps the flank getting in. They just have to be a little bit aware of the sentry. It seems to be denying a lot of the plays so far. And we have an Uber trade.
Just jumping all around. Gets a flash as well, actually, and that's going to mean Tercia goes down, but he eventually dies to that rankle sentry. Like you said, that sentry is in a position where it's covering a lot of angles, and it's almost like that back line. It's covering the tunnel, but it's also covering that far right-hand side. So wherever the flank tries to get in from, they're having to face this sentry. And even though it did look like the cart could be pushed, it's close to the point, but, you know, it's so close yet so far. And Bahan dying in that exchange means, again, DQZ has an Uber advantage, and Bahan has to just sort of rebuild and get themselves into a position where they can make a play again.
Yeah, Bahan's back on medic now for the first time in a while. I think he's been playing heavy mostly. You could see he kind of committed really deep after that Uber. He was caught out by... Stan just stood forward and made sure he couldn't escape. And yeah, they've got to be careful now. This big Uber advantage on inVision going to make it hard for them to really take any position.
He was trying to take the bit between his teeth there and just get some damage over the top of that shack, and just gets denied. I mean, he has the position to do it. You could have also maybe seen some plays from other players there, go for a bit of a suicide wave, waiting for Bahan to get up to that 100%. But this shack is providing the perfect sort of cover for everyone. They're only really exposed from that flank, which, like I said earlier, Asix's sentry is watching. So it's really hard to get an angle onto the medic or to the players who are hiding behind there. And Uber comes in very, very early. And actually, Stan gets shot back, tries to stick jump away, but will actually die because of it. And maybe that's the kind of opening that they were looking for.
Yeah, Stan's really been beasting on this hill, but now there is a little bit of an opening. Strono's doing his best, but the heavy comes in. And I just hear a medic go down in the backlands. Here's Bahan.
Yeah, I was just going to commend Dastron, just silently, stealthily coming in on the flank there with the Tomislav, just ready to clean up all of those plays, does so, but Stinghan was still in a position to just get the shot onto Bahan, the headshot onto the medic, and because of that, again, DQZ is going to have that Uber advantage, that 50% already, Bahan just about to start healing. So Pluha and Dastron both down, combo players, they're just going to have to try and get some cap time here as we're entering another tunnel on this map. And 522 after the first 2 points, I wouldn't say they're going to be very happy with that, so they're going to have to try and break down these holes a little bit faster. If they're going to get a bit of a respectable time, they'll be pleased to defend with, but again, facing an Uber advantage is going to be a difficult situation.
Yeah, I think it was smart for inVision just to back out there. They got the medic. They didn't quite have enough players to contest, so they backed off. Now they're going to get a solid hold on third, and you can see their flank is really deep in this locker room area, and I think that's Dwo going behind with the conch, and they get the medic down.
That's huge. I mean, I was about to say, Turek's in a really good position, getting some spam in on the flank, and Stinghan went down, so you had a lot of like pieces in play on the board to maybe get something done, maybe get their, get broken into a nice sight line, or get Vickerman going in behind, something like that. Get Pluha just spamming and maybe getting the force. But if you're going to do nothing with it and lose your medic and not even make them use the Uber, that's not how you want to be playing attacking on a payload map. So kind of back to square one here. It looks like they want to try and go through this far side. Bahan's taking a lot of spam already. Goes down to about half HP, but we do see that maybe this is the angle that they want to get broken into and try to get a sideline onto somebody important.
Yeah, Bahan can play on the position even with the Uber disadvantage quite safely, but it's going to come down to whether Broken can get any picks. He's kind of notorious for doing these little hip fires. But if he scopes in and kills this heavy, or perhaps the demo, then it's going to open up a lot of space.
I like this Uber coming in right now from Kiti. They managed to take down Strono earlier, and it was Turek who got the kill onto Stan. The Uber for DQZ is going to be so much better, and Sam is going to be the beneficiary of that, trying to chase down some frags, but cannot get many, and Vikman with the backstab, he gets 2, takes down DQZ and Strono, and they start to clean up here. Only 3 players left alive for inVision, and here we go. Kiti now starting to look in the ascendancy here. Only took them a couple of minutes to capture this 3rd point, and now they have a bit of momentum here, Dave. They have an uber advantage. inVision only just getting some spawns. They're not going to be fully set up, and it looks like the Russians really want to just seal this out within the next minute or so.
Yeah, again, looks like they're opting to push the flank. They've got the uber advantage, so there's kind of this awkward situation where they want to take as much space as they can, but they also know they've got to wait that kind of 20 seconds for the uber to come up, presuming Hans counting the ubers correctly.
Yeah, I mean, as well, you also have to think about the car. It's not like 5 CP where you can just transition to the next point and get it done. But DQZ gets taken down by Broken. He wasn't checked and gets that huge pick. Blue is going to take this Uber in now. They're going to get onto this Wrangled Sentry. It's not going to survive for much longer. Sam will get broken down behind enemy lines. So much damage coming out of Blue here. Tercio will go down as well. The repush is just coming in. Turk's jumping forward. Big reflect there from the Pyro. Takes down Swipes. He's not the one who shot the rocket. But somehow the only players left alive are Broken and Vikman. And that does not turn out into a round win.
That was kind of incredible. Like everything seemed to go right. There were no heals for inVision. They got the Uber, went really deep into the spawn. The thing you saw was the heavy hiding in this position. Tercio, he took a little bit of just a distraction away, so they didn't really lock down the spawn properly because they had to deal with that heavy. And then Stingen stands straight out in the open, hits 3 really close range headshots that were on the cart, and it was enough. If he hadn't hit those headshots, they probably would have just got enough cap time to be able to cap it. But now we're looking at much longer time.
Well, 2 of those players you said helped save them on that defense are now dead. 19 seconds in the respawn queue for Tercio, and Stingen is also down. And Vikman earlier on did get the backstab onto DQZ, so they have this full Uber charge advantage again. The sentry is being wrangled in a different position, but Pluho is coming in from a different angle as well, and the Uber is going to be used. They're straight onto the spawn. They don't have to worry about place, but no, Pluho gets dropped, as does Dashron. Vikman again is getting some big backstabs. Gets Stinghand and somebody else who I didn't see, and because of all that distraction, I was looking the other way as well, Dave, and the flank manages to push the cart in, so a much better push that time, but it did help not having to worry about, you know, the sniper or the heavy being there when the push was going on.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about like what teams need to learn about this map, and I think we saw that it doesn't seem to matter how clean the kind of Uber in and the push was. The first time, really clean Uber push, they got all the way to spawn, but didn't get the cap time and didn't get the cart. This time, disastrous push. They Uber in, the demo gets dropped to the sentry, they're stuck with just a Pyro getting the Uber, but because they have so much cap time, they managed to just get the cap off the back of it. So that cart time is really, really important, far more so than the Uber.
Absolutely. Often we find, you know, one thing always, I mean, we're both medic mains here, Dave. You know, when it comes to Ubers, you want to have something you want to do with the Uber. What is this Uber's job? Is it going to be to kill the enemy team? Is it going to be to kill the sentry? Is it going to be to force the enemy medic? You know, whatever you're going to do. But often it can be used, especially on payload, as a distraction. You just get into their faces, take all the attention, and allow those players not involved in the Uber to just push the cart and get it in. And that's exactly what Kiti did there. But over 10 minutes and 2 seconds it was for the entire map for them to push there, and that is the quest facing inVision right now. Can they beat this map within the next 10 minutes? If they do, they will be winning this matchup. If they don't, then Kiti will be taking their first win of this preseason cup. Last chance saloon for both of these sides here, and we do see a very similar setup. Actually, no, we don't. I'm trying to look for the sentry here, Dave. Where is it?
It's actually much further back, just on the hill. You can see Swipes is looking for the sap. Oh, he goes in and gets the heavy. But yeah, with that sentry not taking anywhere near as much kind of distraction away, they're able to just push in with basically no contesting whatsoever.
Very different to what we saw inVision doing. This was almost exactly like a Swiftwater first, where you just totally give it up. You don't even contest at all. An Uber exchange happening on this far side. Looks like this is where inVision want to take the trade. But it is well denied by the Pyro, and Pluha just throwing out some damage. Does take down DQZ.
Oof.
Medic down for inVision, and that is huge. And this is almost reminiscent of what we saw in the opposite phases for these sides. Defensive medic staying alive and the attacking medic dying on this second point. And it'll be interesting to see what inVision, what tools they have in their repertoire to try and deal with this hold on this hill, which seems very, very strong.
You could see that DKZ was clearly not confident in how to navigate the map. He got caught out in drop down and he seemed aghast that there wasn't actually a way for him to get out, and just the stickies came in and there was no escape for him.
It is that kind of thing, map knowledge, that, you know, these players aren't coming in with 100% map knowledge. So, you know, things like that will cost you if you get caught out. And again, it does seem like through this far side, I want to call it flank. This flank side seems to be where inVision like to be putting their pressure. You see Stan is lurking, whereas before Kiti liked to go over the top with their aggression, and that didn't really prove very good for them. But the car is in a similar position. It's just at this exit to the tunnel. It can get shot by this sentry, which is being wrangled. A lot of spam coming in from the flank as well. Turek there and me doing a grand job of just putting a lot of damage down. Big jump in though from Duo is going to get the force onto Pahan, and that's going to mean 100% Uber in the hands of DQZ.
Yeah, that was a big force. Now they've got a large Uber advantage. They're going to be able to push in. The Pyro and the Heavy are now down there. We're going to see Stan is just kind of chilling, waiting with his medic, possibly waiting for a few respawns. Looks like they're going to get the cap as they have the information that Kiti have just fully backed out. They're going to do a third hold.
Yeah, maybe a bit inadvisable. They didn't leave anyone for a sack or anything like that. And now DQZ still with 100% charge is going to be pushing into this third point. inVision capping that second point about 2 minutes faster than Kiti did. So already Kiti having to make up for time here on the third and fourth points, although those were the points that they pushed the fastest. So if they can get a better defense than their opponents, then maybe this will be better. But Stinger taking down Broken does leave this far side open to abuse, and look at Stan just laying those stickies down, throwing them like an artillery cannon. Duo is in through the flank as well. I'm not sure if he's been spotted, and there we go. Stinger with the space is going to take down Pluha, and this is just causing havoc now. So many people are weak. Bahan goes down to about 12 HP there, has balls of absolute steel to not pop the Uber, but Kiti realised they cannot hold on to that third point any longer. They have to give it up for about a minute, Dave.
Yeah, they didn't even have to use their Uber advantage. They just got Stinger in position. But now we're seeing an Uber trade. It just looks like it's going to be a reset. Maybe a couple of players go down. Yep, Stan goes down. The cart's really far back. So probably just going to see them rebuild the Uber. Possibly push from flank. They're just looking to peek Stinger into like a slightly better position.
Yeah, this point is slightly hard to get. We did see Broken get a nice shot onto the medic earlier on. But we see Stinghan is playing in from main and maybe trying to kill a flank class, something like that. But what inVision did there, just getting the Ubers out of play, means that they're able to just push this car as far as you physically can without being, you know, attacked by a major player. And now they can start moving players around, and we see Stinghan going to this far side now, seeing what is lining up for him. Duo will go down to the sentry. But you can see inVision, they want to get Stinghan into position. They want to get him at an angle where he can go for maybe the medic, for the sniper, give his players, you know, everyone on Kiti right now is looking at Stinghan and just worried as he drops off the edge of the cliff. So he has to just get back into position before he goes again.
Yeah, this is such a key position. The sniper can see so much of the red team's hold. You know, any pick he gets here, but particularly the medic or the engineer, it's going to open up so much for inVision. They're just putting all their heals onto it, making sure that soldier, Turek, can't push him back. And as soon as he gets a pick, they're going to be ready to go, I think.
There's a bit of a battle here between Turek and Duo on the flank. Stans come to help out. Stinger goes to the sniper. Actually, it's Vickman, so maybe not the kind of pick he would be really wanting. And Broken will win the sniper v sniper there with a bit of a body shot. But Turek versus Duo on the flank is causing a bit of problems for Duo because he's running the direct hit. Doesn't worry about Meath though, because he can just one-shot him because, hey, it's the direct hit. all of that damage, and it's going to be an Uber use, and it's a much better Uber for Bahan and co. They're going to counter it, and Stan is going to be really far forward here. Has to be careful. He just get Cloud down to about 12 HP. Tertier is really far forward, and he gets taken out. A lot of players dying here. Pluha is dead though, Dave, and maybe that's going to trigger inVision to maybe take some space.
You can see there the scout Mia so long to shoot at DQZ. The soldier would just literally not turn around. He was so focused spamming the gun. He was alone with his medic, with the conch, spamming the gun with a direct hit. There was no one there to protect his medic. And now there's going to be a big advantage for Pahan.
Not really the weapon you want to defend your medic with, I suppose. DQZ is so far forward, actually. He's got Swipes and Strono for company. So, I mean, these days, maybe a Spy Pirate combo is the way to go. Broken on a full kill streak, though, will take down Duo. So that direct hit has been taken out of the equation, at least for the time being. And yeah, big advantage here for Bahan. This is a much better last hold from Kiti than we saw from inVision. We do see them having a lot more map control. Look how far forward Stan is. He's just trying to get onto an angle to get something done. He does take down Pluha, and Sting and takes down Broken. These players taking out their opposing classes. Stan, though, will get wrangled to death. Sam is trying to capture the point, and he's just going to get forced away. So it just seems that inVision are getting these odd picks here and there, and they're just trying to slowly edge that cap up a little bit up the ramp.
Yeah, Tertier was trying to take some space there from the control room, and just the cart pressure gets the force out. You might see Uber coming in soon. And Blue, oh, they've already used it on the flank. And the scouts on DKZ, who is alone again. You can see inVision, they're not quite sure exactly what to do with this flank that's just playing. They're able to go back to spawn, recycle, pressure them out. So yeah, these pushes from the far left side not quite working, just kind of dawdling, and they're losing DQZ every time.
This is going to have to be a big conch from Turek. It's big, but it's not big enough. inVision with their respawns are just going to walk onto the point. They don't have heals, but you don't need heals if you're not taking enough damage. And just by the virtue of having the better respawn wave there, they just walk in and just capture the point. So that seems a little bit weird from my end, but it looked like Kiti had the best defense there on that last point, and every single time they came out with the more players. But the faster respawns meant that inVision could just take that dry and walk it onto the point, and they will win this this map. They're going to win Vigil against Kiti. And but most of all, we've seen some of these new rosters in action. A lot of familiar faces, some new ones, but a lot of excitement heading into the new season when that comes around. And we've seen some potential maps for Season 23, Vigil, Pro Water, and Asheville. Maybe some of those will be played in the upcoming season. Maybe we'll see some classics. Right. Thank you to you guys for watching the game. If you want to support ChrisCast in any way, you can follow us on social media. We have a Twitter. We have a Patreon, we have Discord as well. We have merch over on chriscast.com/merch. We will have more action on ChrisCast in the future. We'll have some more Highlander, maybe some sixes thrown in. There is also the Locked and Loaded tournament coming up January the 30th and 31st, a 6v6 tournament, and there is a $600 prize pool. So, hey, you want to play some TF2 and maybe win some games and win yourself some money as well. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.
Hi, old beaver! Away!